telling myself, if I just heal enough, if I just fix myself, he'll come back to me. That waiting, it was like holding my breath, hoping that love would return to me through the same person who kept showing me crumbs. And maybe you've been there too. But here's the thing that no one told me back then. They always come back, and that's something to fear. That's something to celebrate. Welcome back to my podcast, you guys. This is bonus episode number 17. All right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And also be sure to check out my amazing journals, which are linked in the description box below for more. If you're ready to start your healing journey and to start detaching from the wrong people, so that way you can start attracting the right people. Okay. So today's episode is going to be about they don't always come back. And that can actually be a good thing. So here's the thing, you guys, is that so many coaches, so many communities tell you to just keep persisting, for example, right? That if you do the right thing, or if you just keep persisting, keep scripting, keep affirming, whatever the case may be, right? That eventually they'll come back changed, or that they'll return, right? And I lived in that space for, if you guys haven't been following me, I was in the law of assumption community, I want to say for about 3 years-ish. And before that, I was in the twin flame community for about a good 4 or 5 years prior. But, I've been in that space for a long time, right? I bought the courses, I've said affirmations, I waited for signs. And here's the thing, I really didn't get any movement. I didn't see any changes. And that's when I really thought that there was something wrong and that I thought I was broken. But the truth is that this idea that they'll always come back is actually a myth. And it kept me trapped in a cycle of anxiety, obsession, and pain. Sometimes people don't return because they're not meant to. I mean, you know how, like, for example, I'll give a quick example, right? And some of you guys may have done this where, you may have asked the universe, like, if this is meant for me, let it show up. Or if it's not meant for me, make it go away. And then, like, all of a sudden, when you do that, you notice that it would either stay or disappear, right? See, when you do that, that's putting your intention out there, right? That's how and you may not realize it, but and that's something I noticed is I was just like, when I had done that with a specific person, I noticed that they stayed away. But then when I had, for example, I did that with my old specific person, right, that I was manifesting. I said, if he's meant for me, then he'll stay, he'll come back, right? But if he's not meant for me, keep him away. But then when I started doing this with my dream partner, it was like the opposite. It's like he just kept popping up more and more and more. Okay, but anyway, I just wanted to give that example. And see, sometimes, that person that's not meant for you, right? It's because they can't meet you where you're going. And sometimes it's because the story was complete. It's stretching it further would only, and it's stretching it further would only just hurt you more. Okay. So I want you to take a deep breath with me. And I want you to inhale and exhale. And I want you to imagine the weight of waiting sliding off your shoulders. Feel into your body how much lighter it is when you let go of waiting for someone who just might not ever come. Okay? And when they don't come back, I don't want you to think that it's rejection. It's actually protection. There's a difference. It's the universe pulling you forward into something healthier and something real. So I wanted to actually give you a little bit of a backstory because I actually got really emotional, today, you guys. And so I actually had this urge to kind of just check in to see, where, basically just to see how I was doing in regards to my attachment style. Because if you guys haven't been following me, I pretty much grew up with having a anxious attachment style. To be more precise, I had an anxious, preoccupied attachment style. And, you guys already know the stories of the people I've dealt with, in the past, how they made me felt, the kind of behaviors they did, and things like that, right? And so basically, I went online. I took this test. I actually took my attachment style test. If you guys haven't heard of it, it's called the attachmentproject.com. It's actually a pretty good website to, check out to see what attachment style you have, and it goes really in depth about, you can actually download your report and, and they actually have really amazing workbooks and stuff too about how to fix your attachment style too, right? But basically the first time cause I was actually doing research around this time, and this was actually back in February where, February this year, I was actually looking around trying to this was when I was really getting in depth about attachment styles in general, right? About real healing work. Okay. And I was just getting out of the whole law of assumption stuff I was doing, right? And so basically back in February, I took this quiz because I wanted to know where I was at, right? And that's where I had found out that I was anxious, preoccupied. Okay. And I kind of wasn't surprised, that was definitely me to a T. Like, I was waiting, I was chasing, living on edge. I had always had those anxious thoughts of when that person was going to text me back and, or if I didn't hear from them a certain amount of time, I would get worried about it, wondering what they're doing, even though I would consciously know what they're doing, for example, right? But here's the thing. I didn't stay there, okay? I actually came up with my own mantras, all right? And, I did do a few other things too. I actually did. And I've talked about these in my previous episodes too, you guys. And I actually came up with, well, I didn't come up with it, but I found a really great grounding exercise too, right? And I actually share the exact mantra that I did to help me start detaching from these types of people who were not good for me, okay, in the past, and how it's helped me, all right? I go really in depth about it in my journal, which is on my website and description box below. And here's the thing. I kept doing these rituals. I kept doing these mantras and, things of that nature, right? I kept showing up for myself. And then, I just stayed persistent with it. And then that's when I started kind of noticing I wasn't as anxious anymore. I started thinking about that person less. And then I got to a point eventually over time where I became neutral. Like I just didn't even really care about him. Not like in a cruel way or anything like but it's pretty much like that feeling of like, you just don't really care anymore. I mean, like you might still care about that person as an individual, but once you do this work, you guys, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like you would actually start to realize your worth and value. Okay. And so going back to the story, I actually, today it just kind of occurred to me. I was like, you know what? Let me see where I'm at. I just wanted to retake. Like something just kind of just occurred to me to go ahead and retake that test, that same test on that website I told you guys about, right? To see where I'm at. see if I've made any progress. And let me tell you guys, when I retook this test, I was actually really surprised. And it actually turned out to be that I actually now have a secure attachment style. And let me tell you, I got so emotional because I was just like, oh my God. Right? I mean, like, do you realize how huge that is? I literally rewired my attachment style. And like I said, I started this back in February, you guys. And as I'm recording this, it's August 26th. But by the time this comes out, it'll probably be mid-September. But the fact is, you guys, is that it pays to work on your attachment style, your healing. Okay, and that it is possible. All right, and it doesn't have to take long to work on it either. Okay, and the only reason I was able to do all of this is because it was because he didn't come back. Because if he had, I would have stayed stuck in that cycle. Like if I didn't do the healing work. Okay. And actually with this person that I was so obsessed and attached to, by the way, his name was Taz, by the way, but I've done some episodes about him previously to you guys, but but his absence actually became my healing. And even if he did come back today, even though it's kind of funny with the energy that plays out today, but it's almost as if if he already did come back, I wouldn't even really sweat it. I'd be like, I probably wouldn't even answer the text message, to be honest with you, because that's where I'm at today, where I'm just like, I don't even really care anymore, right? So here's the thing, you guys, and deep breath. I want you to take this away with you. So wherever you are right now, I want you to place your hand on your heart. You feel that heartbeat? That's proof you are alive, you're worthy, and you're capable of love that doesn't make you question yourself. You don't need someone to post from your past to validate that. You are already whole. And instead of asking when will they come back, I want you to ask yourself, what kind of love am I ready to receive now? That question shifts everything. So no, they don't always come back, because some of you guys may have heard that they always come back. It depends on the person, but not every single person comes back. Now, don't get me wrong, you guys. I've definitely had avoidance come back, and I actually have talked. If you guys check out some of my previous episodes called Mr. Scheduled Maintenance, the one who came close then vanished, episode 23, and episode 24, Mr. Unavailable, the love that never landed, and episode 25, Mr. Surface Level, the return that wasn't redemption. Those are a couple people that I actually talked about who did come back, and that they actually did have avoidant attachment styles. Okay, so yes, they did come back, but I also had one that didn't come back. Okay, as of right now. So just keep that in mind. But here's the thing, you guys, you don't need them to come back, because the love that's aligned for you will never make you wait. It will never leave you guessing, and it will never keep you chasing. It will choose you fully. And that's the love worth holding space for. So with that being said, if you guys are ready to start your own detachment journey, that's why I did my 28-day Decentering Men Journal, because it's here to guide you through the same steps I took to heal. And remember, it's not about them. It's actually about you reclaiming your peace. Okay? So like I said, that journal I did, it goes into depth about, it has 28 days worth of journal journal prompts. Okay. And it also has a ongoing ritual I have you guys do even after you finish the journal itself. Okay. Because I want you guys to actually literally treat that like a freaking prayer or something. Okay. Whatever. I don't know what else the word is for you, but honestly, when I started doing that and finding some good grounding exercises is definitely going to help you. Okay. So more information about that is in the description box below for my journal. Okay. And with that being said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll speak to you guys in the next episode.